We thought one box of tissues was going to be enough. We were wrong. Welcome to MsMojo, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 10 heartbreaking moments in 13 Reasons Why.
Because that's the kind of school that this is. Everyone is just so nice until they drive you to kill yourself. And sooner or later, the truth will come out.
Before we begin, we publish new content every day, so be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos.
For this list, we'll be looking at the first season of the show, and at all the moments that left us in tears and or filled with emotion. Whether the moment had us angry, hurt, frustrated, or crying our eyes out, it's eligible.
I can't tell you what it is, and I don't want you to know, because I don't want you to look at me that way, and it would kill me if you heard what were on those tapes.
Number 10, Clay's flashback.
You don't want to be with me, Clay.
But I do. I really do.
You know what people will say?
No.
Clay knows deep down that if he'd done or said something differently, Hannah might still be alive. It's a painful truth that had been tearing him apart for the whole duration of the show, as he tries desperately to understand all the reasons that Hannah chose to kill herself.
I was an asshole, and I'm sorry. And I can never make it right. I can never say all this to you, but I love you.
In the 11th episode, guilt and sadness overwhelm him, and he has a flashback to a time with Hannah. Rather than just reliving the moment, he takes it as an opportunity to do what he failed to do when she was alive. Unfortunately, there's no going back, as Hannah reminds him when she delivers a line that causes both Clay and the viewers to crumble.
I love you, Hannah.
Why didn't you say this to me when I was alive?
Number 9, Clay and Hannah at the dance.
Go get her.
Go get her and do what?
It's a dance, right? Maybe dance with her?
I can't, I can't dance.
This moment is not only beautiful and touching, but also a taste of what could have been. It's a hard scene to watch as well, as we know it will never be.
You look adorable.
There's that word again.
I didn't know you were here.
Yeah, I get that a lot. I blend.
A skill I wish I had.
Mistakes caused by a lot of people result in the loss of an innocent girl's life. And in the wake of this tragedy, the life of everyone involved was changed forever. At the dance, Clay and Hannah talk and laugh and have a good time, finding out a bit more about each other in the process.
You lied to me.
What?
You said you had no rhythm. You dance like a pro.
Sadly, their moment together quickly gets derailed.
I should go take care of that.
Yeah, for sure.
In hindsight, all Clay can do is imagine the kiss that could have been. Number 8, Clay talking to Jeff's parents.
There's something you should know about the night of the accident.
Jeff, you left us too soon. Towards the end of the show, more and more pieces of the puzzle get revealed, and thus, Jeff's parents find out what really happened the night of the crash. Jeff was a fan favorite, one of the truly good ones in the show, and it's heartbreaking to watch his parents realize that their son wasn't the one at fault in the accident that took his life.
I was there. I saw him just before we left, and I don't think he was drunk. You don't?
They're able to hold on to the fact that their son was always trying to do the right thing, and take some measure of comfort knowing that extenuating circumstances contributed to the crash.
Like it wasn't Jeff's fault. The stop sign on the corner had already been knocked down earlier in the night.
Rest in peace, Jeff. You'll be missed. Number 7, Hannah leaving the store.
Hey, Wally.
Oh, hey.
Being put on the list was terrible enough, but dealing with the repercussions of it was worse. All Hannah wanted to do was get some chocolate, but it seems like wherever she goes, assault follows her. Bryce, easily one of the worst people in the show, decides to take advantage of her in the store, sexually assaulting her before he leaves.
There you go.
Did you just...
Oh, no, I didn't. It's real tight. In the store. It's tight in the store.
The horror and disbelief on Hannah's face matched our own. Seeing Hannah try to process the emotions that accompanied this violation as she leaves the store is not only heartbreaking, but also enough to make your blood boil.
It seems like nothing. Until the hurricane hits. Because when you put my name on that list, You put a target on my... Well, it wasn't just my ass.
Number 6. Clay and Tony climbing to the top of the mountain.
We're getting closer. Just remember you gotta go slow if you want to climb fast.
We go from an exhilarating and exciting moment to one of sadness and despair. Tony finally decides to share some information with Clay, and the bombshell he drops is a doozy.
She walks up to the door, she leaves this box, and goes. I didn't get up.
For the first time, we get some insight into the night Hannah died, and how Tony played into it. He knows he made a mistake by not opening the door for Hannah, and, adding to his pain, he acted just late enough to witness her body being taken away.
And they just grabbed the bag and threw her in the ambulance. Just like that.
One can't begin to fathom the guilt he must have been living with since her death, or the weight of having been so close to stopping her. Number 5. Clay listening to his tape.
Your name does not belong on this list. But you need to be here if I'm going to tell my story.
It's the moment he'd been dreading. Who would want to listen to their own tape anyway? Well, he does, and in that moment, all Clay's feelings of guilt, anger, sadness, and confusion peak simultaneously.
You're different. You're good and kind and decent. And I didn't deserve to be with someone like you.
His breakdown is like a release for the audience, too, bringing us all to tears right alongside Clay. It was a relief to hear that he was unlike the others on the tape, but it was still heartbreaking to watch him come to terms with the fact that, in his case, action rather than inaction could have prevented Hannah's death.
And I knew I shouldn't have left, and then Bryce raped Jessica, and Hannah saw, and then Sherry knocked down the stop sign, and then Jeff died, and it all started with me!
Number 4. Clay talking to Mr. Porter.
Hannah Baker came to see you the day she died.
School counselors hold a tremendous responsibility for their students' well-being. They're relied upon when a student is going through a time of hurt, and their inability to act accordingly can have grave consequences.
And you could have stopped it. And I could have. Justin Foley could have. And a dozen other people, at least. But we didn't.
In a twist, we find out that Mr. Porter is the 13th reason why. He had a lot of chances to turn things around, and the signs were there from the start, but never did. As Clay tells him of this, we can't help but feel bad for him. He was a guy who made mistakes, and now he has to live with them for the rest of his life.
And everyone who comes before you on these tapes knows what you did and didn't do. And they always will.
Number 3. Jessica Davis talking to her dad about being a rape survivor.
You okay?
Fine.
Yeah? You don't look fine.
Acknowledging something as painful as sexual assault can be excruciating, but it's also essential to processing the trauma.
She said things happened.
If something happened, I'd remember it.
As we've been learning throughout the series, Bryce is not a good person, and an atrocious act at a party cements his monster status. Jessica refuses to believe it, even though she knows deep down it's the truth. Finally, she breaks down to her father after he notices she hasn't been the same recently. Seeing her do this not only makes it real for her, but for the audience too.
Something happened to me.
Suffice it to say, we eagerly await for Bryce's comeuppance. Number 2. Hannah's rape.
Can't believe Hannah Baker finally came to one of my parties.
Just when we thought it couldn't get any worse, this happens. Bryce has been a bully, nuisance, confirmed rapist, and overall evil guy from the start, and this moment just makes the audience's blood collectively boil even more.
Sorry, I gotta go.
Don't go. We're just having fun.
With Hannah suffering from crippling depression at this point, she just didn't care where she walked and where she ended up. She ended up at Bryce's, and sadly, he took advantage of her and the situation, as he's been known to do. Upon learning of this, Clay confronts Bryce, just like the whole audience of the show would if they could.
Did you rape Hannah Baker?
Number 1. Hannah's parents finding her dead in the bathtub. No matter what we may see of it in media or hear about it on the news, we will never begin to understand the pain of what it feels like for a parent to lose their child. The actors portraying Hannah's parents do a remarkable job in conveying the complex emotions associated with Hannah's death.
Oh no. No, 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 no. No, 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 no. Come on, honey. It's okay. Come on, baby.
We knew the moment was coming, and yet we wish that it would somehow end differently.
Okay, you're fine.
Oh,
You're
God.
fine. You're fine.
Oh, Hannah.
You're fine.
No,
She's
no.
okay. She's okay.
Oh.
She's okay, honey. Call 911. Call 911.
Watching the culmination of all the pain Hannah endured up until she felt like suicide was the only choice tore us to pieces and left a lasting impression on viewers everywhere.
Do you agree with our picks? Check out these other great clips from MsMojo and subscribe for new videos every day.